Hey guys, welcome back. Tisha here, and we are back for another Sister Wives review. I have to start out by asking, is something wrong with me? Because when my child was born, I did not cry. I was so happy that he was out of me. I was. I just laid back and relaxed. And he relaxed too because he was high as gas. Let me explain. My blood pressure was up. They were putting a whole bunch of magnesium in me, and as a result, he had the side effects of being very relaxed to the point where when he came out, I thought something was wrong because no matter what they did, he would not cry. But my baby was floating. Okay. So it's holiday time. All the kids are home. We're 2 weeks away from the bird's due date. Cody lets us know that everything is okay, but the bird is a little spooked. I told you guys last review that the littlest issues become big ones when it comes to the bird, and it just seems like that's what the case always is. Cody says that with this pregnancy, things have been very different, that him and the bird haven't had the connection that they had previously. I'm just like, oh, poor Cody. She hasn't needed him emotionally, so they've been a little disconnected. And we know that one thing that Cody needs to feel is needed. So he says they're working on getting it back. They do a bunch of different flashes of the various stages of Robyn's pregnancy. And I don't see her being emotionally disconnected. I just see her just being. But Cody is so far up her derriere that to him, her not treating him like the king that he's normally accustomed to being treated like, it just ruffles his feathers. We see a clip of her saying that he makes everything long and complicated. I would have hung that up like in a couple of seconds. So it's just basically her being more vocal about the things that are annoying her about her husband. The bird said that this pregnancy has been off, so she's concerned. Normally, if she gets a little inkling, then something is wrong, or if something is wrong, she's right. Well, where was she when Meri was getting catfish? Why didn't she get an inkling about that? I'm just saying. The bald eagle says, Robyn put stock in her intuition and she listens to her insides. And as a result, because of how good she is when it comes to that, she's scaring him. Cody said he's been trying to be optimistic, but Robyn has been deeply concerned. I want to know if you all felt like she was legitimately having concerns, because me personally, if I was that concerned about my birthing experience and feeling like something was wrong, then my birthing plan would have changed. I would have asked my midwife if it was possible for her to take me to some type of facility, for her to be with me at the hospital, for me to be connected to monitors, something along those lines. Maybe I would tell her I no longer needed her services, because I wouldn't be having a child at home if I was so concerned. But you all let me know, because you guys know that I don't care for the birds. So maybe I'm just being a little harsh. Cody says that this is his 18th child and he's very excited. It reminds him of the excitement he had with the arrival of Logan. You hear Meri, Christine, and Christine saying that Logan was their first child too, not just the Janelle's. Janelle had him in the hospital. Since then, she's had some of her kids in the hospital, some at home. And she says that she does prefer being at home in her bed over the hospital. But she's grateful for the hospital because she had some difficult high-risk pregnancies. Christine then got pregnant shortly after. And she told Meri that she didn't want her to get pregnant yet. And then miraculously, Meri got pregnant. So Christine laughs and said, I wanted all the attention to myself. Meri said that Leon was a great surprise, that at that point they had been trying for almost 5 years. We get flashback clips of the things that we've already seen. Leon was 12 when Meri got pregnant again, and we know that she lost that baby. We see the visit that they took to the fertility doctors. This is just one of the examples, in my opinion, of Cody playing with Meri's emotions, just for him to later decide that he did not want to have a child with her unless it was natural, even though he knew that she couldn't have children naturally. We found out that Maddie stayed the same size for about 6 months, that she was underweight, and one of the reasons why is because Janelle wasn't producing enough breast milk. So Meri fed her sometimes. To each his own. I don't know if I'd be able to put another child on my breast. If you want some of my milk, sure, no problem. I produced a bunch of it. Here you go. But to actually be on me, it would be a no for me. And then I'm like, okay, I cannot believe that Meri at one point was feeding this child on her bosom, and yet Janelle and Meri couldn't get over these issues. That alone would make me kind of reflect a little bit. Meri admits it was a little weird, but she said at that time it wasn't about the weirdness of it. It was about Madison's health and making sure that she got the nutrients. She had plenty of cream and it benefited. Cody says that's why Leon was such a chubby baby. Once they started having children, there was a different level of scrutiny. He began having problems with employers and things of that nature. The wives had a lot of double pregnancies. Garrison Hunter are the only kids that were right next to each other as far as Janelle's birth. I'm skipping a lot of parts because we heard a lot of it before. Like in every single season, at some point we hear something about the marriages or something about the kids. If there's something that you want to talk about, put it down below and we'll talk about it. They talk about how difficult it is for some polygamous families when kids are born, that there's a fear even to sign the birth certificate. And I still believe that Cody hasn't signed all his children's birth certificates. They talk about how Truly's birth was the first time that the entire family actually went to a hospital because they were public at that point, and the doctors and nurses and several of the staff knew that they were polygamous. Whereas when Janelle had her baby in the hospital, they were careful and they made sure that they went at different times so that they would not be, discovered. Cody asks if it's strange to have a baby knowing that the world's going to see it. The bird says yes. She's having panic attacks right now just thinking about it. So don't do it. If you're that concerned, don't do it. Christine said for her, it wasn't a big deal because she trusted her cameraman. It did not become a big deal until she saw the show, and then she realized what she had done, which is allow all of us to see some of her birthing experiences. The bird said for her it was a big deal. It's hard to think of the faces and the noises she makes and the intimacy and the view of her bedroom that is all shown. As I said, again, don't film it. We are reminded of Robyn asking Meri to be a surrogate, even though both her and Cody knew that that wasn't about to happen. The bird then asks Meri, what is it like reliving this? Because we're having a lot of fun right now and we're talking a lot and stuff, but you look like you're kind of struggling with it. If you were a man that kept on hounding your wife about having another child, then you waited until said wife was finally ready to go down that route and take the next steps to have said child. You finally had the financial means to have that other child. And then you decide to pull the rug from out under that wife, telling that wife that you think that they should only have a child with you if they can do so naturally. And then you just go and you move on to your younger wife who doesn't seem to have a problem with getting pregnant, and you have more kids. How do you think that she would feel? Meri begins to cry. Christine says, we feel bad that you couldn't have more children. There were other ways for her to do so. They just stopped. Meri says she's over that. she can't have any children and she's surprised by the emotions that she's feeling right now. I'm not. A transparent moment, I wanted more kids too. I always wanted a girl and a boy, and I had some losses. So, of course, over time, sometimes that changes, but that doesn't mean that that void that you wanted more children isn't still there. And it's obvious to me that Meri wanted more kids. I think that time just got the best of her. I think that if she was able to have them, and if her and Cody weren't in such a bad place, she probably would have been quicker to say yes to exploring it more. So they switch up by talking about how with the sister-wife dynamics, they do have a lot of children together and they will have a lot of grandkids together. Seems like at this point, that's only true for Janelle and Christine, because we know that those are the two that see the most of each other's grandchildren. I think that the only grandkids that Robyn and Cody see are McKelty's. I don't believe that he sees Maddie. So are those the only people who have grandbabies? Yeah, those are the only people who have grandbabies. And I don't think they see those. So that, there's that. I feel like you talking about grandkids and all these children doesn't compensate for the loss that she's obviously felt from a religion that kind of told her that that was her job. We then see Maddie. Maddie's in town, and Janelle's mom is in town because Maddie is going for her first dress fitting since picking her dress. She's going for a bohemian type of gypsy theme wedding, we're told. Caleb likes the outdoors and he likes camo. So this is their version of a compromise. If they like it, I love it. As Maddie walks out, Janelle's mother begins to cry. She says she was completely overwhelmed. This is a shock to Janelle because her mother doesn't cry a lot. Janelle says they're pretty stoic, so to see her cry really surprised her. This is going to be hard for you all to believe, but I used to not be a crier either. I know you've seen me cry a few times up here, so that's not believable. But for me, being like Janelle and her mother was kind of a way to protect myself from past hurts. And I feel like I didn't become this version of who I am now where I cry at the littlest things until I kind of healed over some of my past traumas. And I'm just looking at them and I'm like, I wish you would know how life-changing it is to just be able to release. Now, there are some people who are that way because they're just naturally that way. It's not that it's a protective measure. And I'm not saying that that's what's happening with Janelle and her mom. I just think that sometimes having a good cry is a release. Now I'm a sap and I'm okay with that. So we find out that her next fitting is in May, which is close because I believe the wedding is in June. So Aspen, who lives at the Bird's house, is now president over Greek life at UNLV. So they're going to surprise her by decorating her room. Robyn and Christine are. This is so Christine. This is definitely not a Robyn thing. This is up Christine's alley. We've seen what Robyn's decorations look like. An example, what we saw them do for Truly's birthday. That's Robyn's decorations. She's not into decor like that. So she lives there. So Christine is going to include Robyn. Because Aspen is at her house, they're spending a lot more time together. They're bonding and they're getting to know each other more. Christine says that for her and Robyn, she thinks that this has bonded them as well. And that the cardboard race that they did, as well as Aspen living there, encouraged that. She said that during the cardboard race, she felt like she knew that Robyn had her back and Robyn knew she had hers. And that's because they did when it came to Cody. Christine says, it's hard for me to trust. And what Robyn and I needed was time. Meri says, regardless if you're friends or a sister wife or a husband and wife, relationships do change over time. Janelle agrees and says that they have a lot of combinations of relationships in their family. They've still been going to family therapy together. We don't know exactly how it is because we're not told. We just see a clip of them. I agree that relationships do change over time. Christine and Robyn say that one of the things that Aspen loves is the sisterhood, and she's able to get that through her family as well as through the Greek life. Robyn says she wants the perks of sisterhood, but she does not want to do the work. But she's enjoyed having Aspen living there in her home. She says, I've learned a lot. She's an easy kid. Christine says she's good here, and she tells you things now before she tells me. Robyn acts surprised by this, but Christine says, I told you when she first came over here that would happen. She says that when she first said that she wanted to live with Robyn, I really wanted her to, be with me, but I'm glad that she made this decision because it's probably better that we don't live together. It's also giving her a chance to know Robyn better and her kids as well. And she's not worried because she knows that her child is in the safety of one of the other mother's homes. So Janelle points out that they both have smaller children, Christine and Robyn, and that has given them more opportunities to be involved and bond as well. How can the bald eagle say that Christine was not a good sister wife when we're seeing so many instances, it seems like in every single episode, where Christine is overextending herself and being what? A good sister wife. Aspen walks in. Christine's standing in the room holding roses. She sees the decorations and she's surprised. She says, you guys are so cute. She thanks them. She says, I did not want this to be a big deal. This is something that I set out as a goal for myself. I kind of did it quietly and I got it. And this is the perfect way to congratulate me. It's breakfast time. We're at Christine's house. We talk about the family tradition where the older girls make breakfast for Christmas. I don't understand why they couldn't alter this thing and make it the older kids. Why does it just have to be the older girls? What were the boys doing while this was being done? Robyn comes over. They talk about her wanting her to have the baby before all the kids leave since the family is there. She thinks that it's going to be any day now. Most of the family is gathered, and Cody is annoyed because Hunter, Logan, and Caleb aren't there yet. He really has this announcement that he wants to make, and he wants everybody to be there. At the time, I said in my notes, I don't know what this is yet because I haven't gotten to that part of the show, but this better not be another light show, which it wasn't. Cody says, I'm not allowed to be the Grinch or Scrooge during Christmas, but it's over now, so I can be that way today. Robyn is the one who told him that he couldn't be that way. That's a rule of hers, but let's continue. Everyone finally arrives for Cody to make his announcement. He says, after you get your food, come and sit at the table. And as you gather your food, come stand behind the kids sitting at the table, which was so roundabout. Logan makes a face like, what is he talking about? Just tell them to all come to the table. He wants it silent for this announcement, but the kids are so happy to see each other that they keep talking, and he keeps trying to start and stop and trying to start and stopping. He makes everything so complicated. Everybody is there. Just say, you guys, hold on for a second and tell them what you got to tell them. He wants to know why this is so difficult, why they don't understand what it means to gather. They're close enough to the table where they can hear you, so just speak. Christine says he gets mad. Robyn says, everybody's right here. She was trying to point out to him that he was being scary. He wasn't being scary. He was being a jerk. He was molting. That's what birds do sometimes. They molt. So he was in a pissy mood. Let me not put that on birds. Are birds unhappy when they molt? I'm going to look that up. I want to know if molting hurts. I don't think molting hurts because when I shed skin, it doesn't hurt. Y'all, okay, these are the thoughts that go on in my head. He said he felt stupid after that because he should have just said, everybody be quiet. We got a secret to tell you. He says, now I got to get in the moment to be in the mood. If Cody was my father, I would be happy to only see him once every 4 days because he's annoying. He said, I don't need every little thing to be dramatic. I don't need it to be a dramatic experience to just let everybody just come here and cooperate and gather. Yet at this point, even though he's saying he doesn't need everything to be a dramatic experience, Cody is the one who's making a dramatic experience. Cody says, you guys, I have an announcement to make. For spring break, we're going to Hawaii. He gets a lot of excitement about it, but I was so over the fact that it took him so long to say it. I was just like, okay, good. If you want to tell me something, don't drag it out. I'm the type of person who needs you to get to the point. Don't have a meeting about a meeting to me. Don't tell me you have to talk to me about something. You're going to tell me later on because that kicks up my anxiety. Trying to wonder what you're talking about. Just tell me. And I feel like with Cody, he likes to purposely drag things out to make it climatic. And as a result, it's real like anti-climatic. It's everybody's spring break when they're going to go, with the exception of Leon. But Leon is going to take a week off from school because it's Hawaii. A week is a big deal in college, but I guess Leon knew what they were doing. Time for Robyn's delivery. Let me take a swig of water. Y'all, this delivery, they really dragged this episode out with this delivery. They tried to do everything in this segment to make it seem like there was such urgency when Robyn was just experiencing delivery. Every delivery is different. You cannot determine exactly what's going to happen. There are people who go to the hospital and they can be in labor for all of 5 hours and they're done. I had a friend that recently, and this was her second child, so she thought it was going to be a quick delivery. She was in labor for 3 days. It just varies. It's 3 days past Robyn's due date. And even though she previously told us 10 days ago that she felt like she was going to have the baby any day and it's going to happen within the week, she obviously was wrong. The Bald Eagle says that Robyn can tell that this is different, and it's kind of like worrying him. But he has to make sure that he's present for her and he's engaged for her and that he's not easily offended. He wants his wife to be in charge of everything, and whatever she needs, he wants to be there to provide it for her or make sure that it's being executed by someone else. He is the enforcer. He is there for support and strength. As I said before, he would get on my nerves. Aurora and Brianna are being included into some of what's going on, as well as her parents. My parents gawking at me would get on my nerves. My parents being in the delivery room with me. Well, let me not say that, because my mom was in the delivery room with me. But no, she got on my nerves. She got on my nerves. She knows she got on my nerves. At one point, I was holding her hand and I squeezed the mess out of her hand. I felt like I broke some bones in it. So, yeah, she got on my nerves. But Robyn's mom and dad are in the room. I guess they're there for a lot of her deliveries, because I recall her dad being there for the last. Do y'all have time to come to every last grandchild's delivery? This is one of the conveniences of them being in Vegas. And another reason why I felt like they moved to Vegas was to be closer to Robyn's family. I think it's weird. Personally, I wouldn't want my dad in the room staring at my poom poom. I just wouldn't. He doesn't need to see all of that. So Aurora is tracking the contractions. The midwife came by earlier in the morning and Robyn was 5 centimeters. And when she came back at 4, she was still at 5 centimeters. So she's not dilating as quickly as she would like. Robyn sent out an email or a text to everyone, letting them know that she feels like the baby is going to be there today. This morning, I already said that everybody is just waiting. Cody says that Robyn is like out, and for some reason she seems to be really insecure about this, and that he noticed that Grandma Alice is praying the whole time and is just intensifying things. Labor is dangerous for everyone. As I said earlier, if they were that concerned, why continue to labor at home? So April, the midwife, arrives and tells them that they don't need to keep tracking the contractions because they're so close together. She feels like at this point, Robyn needs to focus on her breathing. Janelle gives a shout out at this time to Cody in confessional for always being there for the births. I do not give bonus points to fathers for being fathers and being there for the births. I remember when my brother found out that he was going to be a father, the first thing that I told him was that he was not allowed to be a deadbeat. And that's because that is not what he experienced, and that is not what my niece was going to experience. And I'm proud to say that even though he is no longer with her mom, He made sure that he went down and got his rights and got his 50-50 custody, and he is very active in my niece's life. And that is what it is supposed to be. So Cody doesn't get extra points for being supportive and stuff like that while this woman is delivering. That's what he's supposed to do. It's the 18th child. He should definitely be a professional. She says he's encouraging and he's just so amazing. He's very pleasant and he was right by my side. Christine says, I told Robyn when she was thinking about possibly having her child in the hospital not to cheat herself because this is her first time having a child with Cody, and he's very supportive and he's very amazing. This is probably Cody's favorite segment because all of the wives were speaking so highly of him. I mean, he's all smiles while they're going down the row of compliments. Meri says he is there, and then she has to pop his bubble. And he's very good until it comes time to tell you the gender of the baby. Because when she gave birth to her child, Cody let her know that the child was a boy. But at the time, based on the genitalia, because I don't want to be disrespectful of what Meri's child now identifies with, but Cody was looking at the umbilical cord, so he misgendered the child. Back to Robyn's labor. Cody feels like there's a difference because of Robyn's fear. She says that this is more painful and she just keeps feeling like something's happening, like something's wrong. She irritates me with the way that she responds to things. Every labor is different. I guarantee you, if all of us who have given birth before, who have labored before, were to put our stories in the chat, that we would see so many different variations of the things that happen during labor. I myself had stomach and back labor. And to make it worse, because of how high my blood pressure was, they were not allowing me to move. And the only time my blood pressure, with the assistance of medication, would go down is if I would lay on my side. And I hated laying on my side because the position that I felt the most comfortable in, which was standing up, bent over the bed, they didn't want me to do that because my pressure would spike when I did that. So I had a very uncomfortable labor and it made the pain worse. I'm sure, as I said, everybody could say something different. So Robyn continuing to talk about, oh, this is different and this is hurting more and this is hurting here. You already said that you're not even carrying the same way, that you're a lot bigger with this one than you were with the other one. And we saw that. So stop comparing the two pregnancies. I don't know. I just feel like sometimes things are just so amplified with her because of the way that she just, she does things. He tells her she's doing good. In confessional, he says, we don't want to acknowledge how bad this could be because any woman who's in labor could be in harm's way, which I do agree with that. Cody says, now with the labor, we're holding on to each other. We're face to face with each other. She's leaning into me. I feel like I'm back in tune with her. This is the moment that Cody's been waiting for. I couldn't get it out. He's been waiting for this to jump into action. They prepped. He's like, don't you think it's time to prep the bed? So they prep for bed for Robyn to be in labor. She goes into the bathroom, changes her outfit. Her mom and dad are still there. Y'all, I can't get with it. To each his own. My father, if you're going to be in there, I wouldn't want you to be at the bottom part of the bed, which is where her father was. Now, he wasn't directly by the bed. He was sitting across from the room, but he obviously had a view of her kuka. He feels like he's being a pest to her because he keeps telling her different things to do, even though in his words, she's a good mother and she knows what to do. This birth is very different. We get it. They said it over and 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 over again that this birth is different. I'm looking at the different stuff in the bedroom, right? Which is why one of the things Robyn was talking about, we're all in her bedroom. Yes, I was in your bedroom and I was being nosy. And I noticed the picture that was on the background with the Lexus, the white Lexus, and the sunset, and the two of them posed together. And I wonder if this is what they were talking about in the book, the moment when Cody proposed to her, off camera was there because of that picture, and it clearly looks like her silhouette and his silhouette. But you all tell me if you noticed it. I'm making up all kinds of words. If you noticed it and what you thought about that picture. Robyn points out how she now has this tightness at the top of her stomach that she never felt before. I'm sorry. Why do you keep telling us about stuff that you never felt before? The midwife says it's amazing how different things are with each birth and how different birth can be. Then you got Robyn's mom sitting on the floor looking like she's about to cry, and the baby isn't even out yet. Get it together. I'm not trying to be insensitive. I know it's a joyful time, but her tears there weren't joy. It was fear. It just seemed like everything, the both of them, Robyn and her mom, are two dramatic people who feed off of each other. And Robyn probably would have been better had her mom not been in that room doing some of the stuff that she was doing. Because even looking at her mom's face, she kept having this overly concerned face. And I'm like, okay, what is the energy of this room if I'm seeing the way you look here? And Cody's talking about how concerned he is because she keeps praying. It just seems like they were doing a bunch. Cody does not like how Robyn's breathing. Cody says that Robyn's mom... Let me take a swig for this. Okay. Excuse me, y'all. Gotta make sure I can breathe. Cody said Robyn's mom told her that being calm and ladylike, not yelling out, not screaming during labor is important because it interrupts the labor. And it's not good for the labor. Say what? Y'all, I hit it and I didn't cough. Oh, I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I want to know, lady, what doctor told you that? What medical professional said? Don't scream, because when you scream, that's going to interrupt the process of the labor. I'm going to scream. I'm going to bleep, 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 bleep. I may tell you to get out. That is crazy. Something is wrong with that lady. All that holding and Robyn was doing and stuff like that, it wasn't because Robyn was struggling to breathe. It's because Robyn was trying to appease her mother and not scream. That's insane. If I want to have a loud birth because I'm pushing out a 9-pound, 9-ounce baby that shoulders are eventually going to get stuck in my canal, I'm going to scream. Anyways, Robyn's pushing. She's not breathing the way that they need her to. Cody's talking about if she passes out, then it's going to be a problem because the baby's not going to get the air. They're going to have to wait for her to recover. They really drag this labor segment out. She's trying so hard to be quiet, and her mother is over there clicking all these different pictures because you keep seeing the flash, flash, flash. And I just want the girl to yell out. So the baby head is out. Cody's like, normally when the head is out, you do a push, the shoulders come out, and then boom. But the head is out, and she's pushing, and it's nothing happening. And I'm noticing that the midwife is really having to get in there, and you do see her dig down, like she puts her head down, and you don't see her face because she's trying to pull the baby out. The baby is born. She begins crying. Aurora and Brianna are crying outside the door. They come in crying. April says that the baby came out amazingly pink. She's breathing and she's great. Everyone is looking at the baby. Robyn says that her intuition told her that this was going to be harder. So it allowed her to prepare herself, because we heard so much about this intuition that we had to make some type of correlation with it. So this is her correlation. Not saying that you cannot have intuition with something, because I very much so believe in discernment and things of that nature. However, I wonder about Robyn a little bit here. She said it was a struggle to get her out. The shoulders were stuck, and it was a struggle because the baby was big. Like, this wasn't no little baby. So April's checking out the baby because of how big she is. We end up finding out that she broke her clavicle coming out, but she's not hurt. It will heal on its own. She made sure that she was able to grip and all those things, and she's fine, but it could have been worse. if she was not breathing, then she might have had to perform resuscitation. So Robyn says she feels like angels were there making sure everything was okay, and she thanks Heavenly Father that they had a great birth. Meri's excited and she's impatiently waiting to see the baby. You see Christine waking up so all the kids could see her. All the family heads over. I would be Truly, because Truly didn't want to get out of bed. I wouldn't have either. I would have just waited to see the baby in the morning. Everyone is holding the baby, touching the baby in the face, and I'm just hoping that they all wash their hands, because that's not what I saw happen, but okay. You then see a couple days later, Logan, Leon, and Hunter are there to meet their sister. They talk about how there's more girls than boys and how small their plural family is. Meri says that she didn't do her part in the weight-bearing section of being a wife. Cody says commonly you see 6 children per wife. Then Janelle talks about Logan and Michelle and how they've been together at this point for 9 months. And she just wants him to marry her since they're so committed. But that's not what he wants to do. And I say, at this point, why are you rushing them? Both Leon and Logan want to be physician's assistants, so they say if they get accepted to the same school, they probably get a 2-bedroom apartment, because Michelle is willing to go wherever Logan goes. Cody hates the idea of this because Cody feels like they're not married. But it's interesting to me that Cody, who really, even though he claims to be spiritually married, doesn't follow the teachings of it. So I don't really care how Cody feels about that situation. Go Logan. I just appreciate the fact that at this point, which really since he left, Logan has not been allowing his dad's opinions or his mom and the other wives' opinions to change his narrative. He's doing what's best for him. Janelle says, I can't tell him what to do. Cody says, I understand that, but it still makes me squeamish. It's difficult. Cody says that they want to make sure that, it's later on. They're getting ready to see the baby. They want to make sure that people are changing their clothes and washing their hands when they see the baby, because Solomon had RSV for 2 to 3 months. So now they're overprotective. They talk about Hunter and how previously Hunter was with Solomon versus how he is now. He's older. I'm so tired of them showing that clip with this guy who was going through depression and knowing his family was struggling, having to hold this baby who was going to take more money out of their family and more time and all that other stuff, when as soon as he held that baby, his opinion changed. Why do we keep talking about this? Why are we holding on to this? Even in season 18, Robyn refers to this. So she never let go of it, even though in this clip she tells us she did. Robyn says that's all changed and I'm very grateful now, and I just adore Hunter. He's so bonded to Solomon. Anything that serves her kids, she's happy. Robyn likes them fighting over the baby. Logan is a little more reluctant to hold the baby because of how small she is, but he does. Cody then tells everybody to come over so he can announce their name. He lets us know he picked it. Once again, this becomes a whole to-do where Cody announces it, but he takes forever to do it. He's taking so long that you see Robyn and Meri laugh. He finally says her name is going to be Ariella Mae Brown, and we're going to call her Aria. It means lioness of God. You can't tell people what nickname to call her. If they want to call her Ariella or Ariella, let them call her Ariella. It's like me. My name, well, my nickname is Tisha. People call me Tisha, people call me Tish, people call me T, people call me the one and only T. My grandma calls me Brown Baby. Like, I have a lot of nicknames. Carm, because of my middle name. Like, there's a whole bunch of names that people have called me over time. If I don't like it, I say don't call me that. But I'm just saying, like, these are things that happen. You can't... Cody just has everything mapped out in his mind and how everything is going to be. Just let stuff happen the way that they happen. It means lioness of God. Janelle says, all of our kids grew up as siblings regardless of their biological mother. We've established our one family, and they give credit to Cody, whereas Cody's giving credit to the entire family, both the moms and the dads, for doing this. They grew up as siblings because they are siblings. It just is. that's what it is. Now, adding Robyn's children does change a little bit of it. And I give kudos to them for being able to include them the way they do and just call them their siblings. They don't say they're step siblings or anything like that. And they have been adopted. So there's that. You all, tell me your thoughts and opinions of this heavily saturated bird episode. How did you all feel about it? How glad are you that we don't have to hear about this pregnancy and baby sister anymore? If you haven't done so already, like the video, comment, and subscribe. And until next time.